Today I'm going to show you what's in my bag that helped me go from a 24 to a 6 handicap in a little over a year. Now what's different about this video, each of my clubs is very unique, and I think they all played a vital role in getting me to that handicap so quickly. And while these are all name brand clubs, each one of these clubs has some sort of modification that's pretty different from your usual club. So the first thing you're gonna notice with my clubs is that every single iron is the exact same length. I do play 1 length irons, and I have loved these things. I think the distance gappings are completely correct. I don't think you lose distance on your longer irons. My favorite club to hit is my 54 degree, which with a longer wedge, that shouldn't make sense, but I really do love these 1 length irons. And one of the things I really like about these is I don't have to think about each swing for every club. You know, when I first started out, I thought my 5-iron swing was way different than my swing for my gap wedge. And if I haven't practiced a lot, I would be like, oh, I haven't practiced my 6-iron at all. I'm kind of nervous to hit this. But with 1 length, I probably have put, in terms of my practice time, I probably put the least amount of practice time into my irons, but they're probably the best part of my game. Just because if you can hit one of these good, then you can hit them all good. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're on with 1 length irons, you are on with every single iron. So I play the Cobra Forge Tech 1 length. Now this is not what I started with. I started with the Speed Zone 1 length. If I could have got these right off the bat, I would, but I didn't have the money. So I waited a year or two until they went down in value. And I really love the look of them. I love the muscle back. I love the forged. One of the things I like about playing forged irons now is I feel like I can tell where my ball is going way easier, and it's a lot easier to control off the face. Now, if you're looking at these things and if you think they look bulky, they don't. When I first looked at these online, I thought the head was a little bulky, but in person, I think they look good. They look sleek. They're not quite a blade, but they're definitely thinner than kind of your typical cavity back. And I have loved the look since I first saw these, and I finally bought them, and I have been extremely impressed with the Forge Tech. I haven't had to do any adjustments with these at all. So with my older irons, I had to get a couple bent strong, bent weak, just to get them, to get the gappings correct. And with these, they were great right off the bat, and I've just been a big fan. Now, the grips on these irons, they came with the Cobra Connect grips, but I didn't like the Connect grips. It added about 1/2 inch, so I just went to some standard, I think it's the Lambkin, never mind, it's Golf Pride. So I just went with some standard Golf Pride grips. They're mid-size, and I've really been really happy with these. Next up, we'll go from irons right to the driver. So the driver might look a little pink on the face. We just did a gender reveal, and second baby is gonna be a girl. Let's go. Now the difference with my driver, I said every club is a little bit different. The big difference with this club is the shaft length. So I had this cut down. When I first started playing golf, I had a really long driver, had no confidence, couldn't hit it at all. So I decided to shorten my shaft length. So for a year I played 43.5. This one is 44.5. Kind of after I got confident for a year, I went up a little bit. And so 44.5, I had to add a little bit of lead tape there to just kind of even out the swing weight. And if you guys want to learn more about that, I have a video all about shortening your driver. I'll link that above. But I've loved the M4. I originally played a Callaway Maverick Sub-Zero, and I just hated it. I felt like if it wasn't hit perfect, it just didn't go anywhere. And I think with the M4, it feels like anywhere on the face, I can get a good smash factor. My average with my smash factor has been 147, I believe, and that's really, really high. So I'm a big fan of this driver, very forgiving driver. Love playing a shorter shaft. And the shaft I have is an RDX Smoke Blue, and it is an extra stiff shaft. Now, I originally played a stiff shaft. My swing speed probably averages like 110. And if you're above 105 on your swing speeds, then I would recommend moving up to an extra stiff shaft, and I don't think you'll regret it. I have actually I did a video where I hit this driver 100 times a day for a month. So I probably hit this driver over, I bet, 5,000 times since I got it, and it's held up great, in great condition, and love it to this day. Now, working down, we went irons first. Now we're gonna go into the hybrid. So this is also a 1 length club. So I do wanna get a 3-wood at some point, but don't have the money for it right now. That'll probably be my next purchase. We had a car break down, so a little light on the money there. So this is a Cobra 1 length 4 hybrid. I originally had a 3 hybrid as well, but I'm a really low launch hitter, so I had trouble with it. But love this hybrid, and I actually have this one in stiff, and this recoil shaft is one of my only stiff shafts, but it's such a stiff shaft that it feels like an extra stiff, and I've been playing this and haven't thought about changing it. Now, big fan of this. I probably would say I hit this 220 to 230 on average. I can push it out to 240, 250 with some really good hits, but that average is probably between 220, 230. Now, It is not as accurate as my 5-iron, so kind of what my strategy is, if I'm hitting this really well on the day, I will use this kind of attacking from anywhere. If I'm a little erratic with it, which I will be a little more erratic than that 5-iron at times, then I'll just hit my 1-length 5-iron and I'll call it good to go. Now, I talked a little bit about the irons, but not too much about the distances. So one of the big things people talk about with the 1-length irons is they're afraid that they go shorter. They don't. They work great. My 5-iron goes, I would say, 210 to 220. If I really push it, I can get that probably 215, 225, but on average, probably 210 to 220. And I'm very comfortable with this club. I feel like I can hit this anywhere off the tee. I love that it's the length of a 7-iron. I always feel super comfortable with this club and I can hit this pretty much from anywhere and feel confident it's gonna go a good distance and go straight.
Give me a freaking break.
Now, you're probably noticing the arrow burner cover. All right, this club, I hardly use this club, but it's one of everyone's favorite clubs to look at. This is a 1-length driver. So it is literally the same length as my 7-iron. And you're probably like, why the heck do you have that club? So the reason I have this driver, when I first built my very first simulator, it was not wide enough to hit an actual driver. So I had this kind of little, not busted up, but an old TaylorMade arrow burner driver. So I cut it down, made it to a 7-iron shaft, and it is one of the funnest clubs to hit. The farthest I've ever hit it was 300 with a windy day in a rock hard hot Florida. Realistically though, this would probably go 250. Now, next thing I wanna move to are my wedges. So I have the 1-length gap wedge, but I actually play the 1-length wedges as well. Now, the 1-length wedges are very unique. They don't make a whole lot of 1-length wedges, but these have become my favorite clubs in the bag. So I would say the clubs I use the most out of my bag and the ones I feel most confident in are the 60-degree and the 54-degree. The thing about these, people go like, why would you want your wedges longer? You lose control. Now, here's the deal. I only play these at full length when I'm full swinging. So if I'm taking a full swing with my 54 and my 60-degree, I will play them at normal length, and that makes me really confident because I swing it the same as my 7-iron, all the clubs are the same length, and I'm good to go. But anytime I'm not full swinging, I grip all the way down in the grip and use it kind of like a normal wedge. And I really like that I can use it like a normal wedge when I need to, but when I'm full swinging, I don't have to play this super short club. I can just play the 60-degree, hit it just like I would any of my other irons and feel really good with it. Now, last but not least, let's get to the putter. Now, this is the only thing I would say did not have kind of a unique purpose. It's just kind of the general Kirkland signature putter. Now, I had this like $20 putter to start, and I wanted a milled putter, a nice putter, and really the only one I could afford was the Kirkland KS1. You can get these things for like under $100 brand new. And I really like this putter. I've had a lot of good days with this putter. Out of all clubs, I always wonder if putters actually make a difference or not, but I can say I had one of my best putting days in my last round. I had like 1.4 putts per hole. I was on fire with this thing. Now, moving on through the bag, let's get into like what's exactly in the bag. So one of the first things I'm gonna pull out here is my flight scope Mevo Plus. So I'll show some videos of this. This is a launch monitor at the range. You can get exact yardages. They're pretty much 100% accurate because it's a radar-based launch monitor, but it also doubles as a golf simulator. And you can get these things for like 2,000 bucks. And a side note, I can get you this as cheap as possible. Use my code and link below. But I use this as a golf simulator. We probably played 36 holes a day this winter. I'll use it at the range. This thing is a awesome must buy if you are serious about your golf game. Next up, so Pro V1s are the balls I love to play, but honestly, half the time, our Ace Hardware has like someone who collects golf balls and you can get used golf balls there. So most of the golf balls I use are just from Ace Hardware. You can get like 12 Pro V1s for $9. It's ridiculous. So I'll just stop there anytime I'm low on balls and just get their ones that they put in the stash. So it's awesome. They are used, probably found from some local course, but they're cheap, they work, and I like them. Next up, we're gonna go my rangefinder. So I have the Nikon Cool Shot. I just got a rangefinder this winter, and this thing has been great. I would say I originally just used 18 birdies, which I still like to use for getting like, you know, where to hit balls to play it safe and that kind of stuff. But as someone who has a hard time seeing the pin, the rangefinder has been a game changer to get exact yardages and where I need to go.